Well, hey everybody. We are going to start this webinar now and really explain what's going on with Zeek Rewards. That's the question that's on everyone's mind, and yeah, so we have definitely some information that we're going to be sharing with you. All right, so we have a couple of people coming on the line now, and as we were doing that, I just wanted to introduce Marie Torres, who is on the panel. And Marie is a superstar marketer, also my wife, and yeah, she's here. And also we have Roger Langell. Now, Roger has an extensive history working with auctions and very storied history in network marketing as well. So, Roger, did you make it to the webinar?
Yeah, Andrew, I'm here, and thanks for having me on here. Guys, I want to just give you a brief background on how this webinar took place. Is my sound coming across okay, Andrew?
Yep.
Okay.
That sounded good.
Guys, I originally intended this webinar for several leaders that I had around the world that I've worked with in the past, and somehow the YouTube videos went live and everything else. So we have people on here that I didn't intend to be on here, and it's okay. Certainly we're going to be an open book here, but I just want to say I don't want any of this recorded at all. So please do not record anything on here, because I just meant this for some people around the world that have reached out to me. What had happened, guys, is when the news started rolling out, my phone started ringing off the hook because I'm in North Carolina, and I've led several different programs in the past. And when this news rolled out, everybody kind of reached out to me and was asking what I could do. I then cut a YouTube video personally for people that I knew, so they would know what actions I was taking for them, and my intentions were at that time to go down and speak to the Attorney General, who I've had dealings with before in North Carolina, all positive stuff. When I went down there today, I was basically told that his mother, Roger, wouldn't get to meet with him today. It's been crazy with everything that's going on. I was able to speak to one of his assistants there, and as the news started rolling out, it started getting worse and worse. And we were told about the Secret Service coming in, and we were told about also the SEC getting involved. And guys, what happened is I was aware earlier today that it was a completely done deal. Zeek Rewards, unfortunately. What happened though is people, like anything, we were devastated at first, and they were trying to claw and scratch for, any possible good news that could take place. But it's being reported out of Washington as of right now that the SEC completely shut it down. It's not the case where they're just shutting it down for a little while to take a look at this. It's absolutely completely over. If you go check out this press release here, you can actually call on the next page the attorney and speak to him if you can get a hold of him. So, I mean, the complaint's all here. What happened, guys, is money was coming into Zeek, money was being paid out to Zeek, and it got to the point where the money that was coming in was not going to cover the payouts. Zeek Rewards model, well, it looked beautiful, and a lot of us, you guys and my leaders around the world made substantial money in Zeek. What happened was, unfortunately, the auction model wasn't bringing enough legitimate income. As you guys have seen on there, there's not nearly as many auctions for rival companies such as Quivid. So the auction model wasn't bringing in the revenue. It was actually people coming in and joining, and that's the ponzi scheme model that took place, unfortunately. From there, I have another document over here if you guys want to. It's at businessfromhome.org, and it's the MLM attorney, Kevin Thompson, and he's going off on Zeek Rewards' model. So, unfortunately, the bad news is that it's completely done. Now, I will go a couple steps further. We do have some stuff for you that we think can help you here in the future. We're going to talk about that. But first, I want to take a moment, and I saw a lot of people celebrating in other companies. And I'm in a traditional network marketing company myself called Visalis, and I'm one of the top leaders in that entire company. And I saw even some of my fellow Visalians kind of bashing Zeek Rewards and stuff like that. But you have to look at the industry as a whole and mankind and human beings as a whole. And what we've seen is that a lot of people got hurt. I'm seeing stories as I'm kind of exploring this on the side about a gentleman that, he was in bankruptcy, borrowed the $100 to get in, then we went out and brought in all of his friends for $10,000. Built his account up to enough where he could, start living again. And they all came in 60 days ago. So, the net result of that, unfortunately. So, guys, I want to express my condolences for all of this that took place. I know some people are hurting right now, and what we were able to do is people from around the world, my friends, were calling me to do this. They started, as this news started rolling out, and I was doing private calls with everybody, they started saying, well, what next? Is there another company? From there, guys, I got on the call with my good friend Andrew, and I have a lot of connections in the industry, so we reached out to, I would say 12, 18 companies today for people around the world, and of them, we were able to reach the owners of 13 of them, and 4 of them we were able to get through the tough questions and thought that they were legitimate enough for you guys. I know, Mike, you're over in Scandinavia, and you were interested in a company there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find a quality one that's just operating in Scandinavia, and I apologize for that. But we do have 4 companies where we speak with the owners. We were able to get into the banking a little bit with them. And we're gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about those from highest risk all the way up to solidification. And I know so far today I've seen teams of 22,000 upwards of 38,000 from Zeek Rewards pop into different companies already, and people are pouring into them, and that's without my advice from what I've seen. So I strongly advise that you guys take your time on that stuff and get all the accurate information. Unfortunately, guys, I have to say Zeek Rewards is done, and I'll bring Andrew out here. He can give you the broad strokes on what we've discovered for you guys around the world. And thank you, Andrew. Are you there?
Sure. Yeah, I'm here. And I just wanted to recap on basically what you said. I was surprised that there was, according to the SEC report, a million. What was it? A million customers that they've had, or business people.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things that's really important to understand is that this type of business, it's there's a lot of money to be made, in this type of business, and there's a lot of good programs out there. The key is really not to panic. First of all, you definitely don't want to panic and start running for the hills, and you want to get with your team, and get with the people that you've introduced to it, which is going to be tough conversations for a lot of people because I've had to do that before, both when I've left companies and circumstances where I've been, you know, um, you know, just kind of, I had to leave that particular company. You need to make those calls, guys. Even though you don't want to, let your people know because they're really hurting and they don't know what's going on out there. Now, basically, I mean, the one of the things that you need to understand is that it's not necessarily all what Zeke popularized was called the penny auction. Okay, and the penny auction, actually is a model that can work for people. As Roger said, I mean, the real thing with it was, as their customer base grew into the hundreds of thousands and potentially the million mark, their actual the number of bids that they had going on the auction site was very low. Okay, and it didn't increase, right? So that was a kind of warning sign for me. And I know, Roger, we had discussed that, even as far back as several months ago. Um, that being said, I think everyone's really hurt that and surprised that Zeek wasn't able to make it through, because I know that a lot of people, who had never had success in anything, were starting to have success in Zeek. So to talk about some of these different models that we have, obviously we have the penny auction model, and this is probably one of the most risky models. And I'm sure, as a lot of you who've been in Zeek know, a lot of money, has actually been made. So, it's not that it's necessarily a bad model. It's just, keep in mind, don't put in your last bit of money, and make sure that you understand that the money that you have, that's electronic money, in a system, hasn't actually been actualized until you take it out, right? And that's part of the reason why the SAC comes in, because then it gets really into the realm of investing, and you want to understand that. So the other thing is, with the penny auction model, you have other companies like Qbids, that does not allow profit sharing, but they have people that actually go to this auction and use it. I see them advertise a lot of interstitial advertising, and a lot of the stuff that's going on there. So it's definitely a model that can work for you. But take the lessons that we've seen here with Zeek Rewards, and really measure that with how much tolerance for risk that you have. Second option of businesses, I guess, in this industry, probably a little bit less risky, would be, there are other companies that are very much passive income. You can create passive income from them, and they don't require that much work. Okay, so again, in this, but they're not penny auctions, right? So if you've been burned by Zeek, and you just don't like the whole idea of that, keep that in mind. That may be something that is better suited for you. So we have the two options now: the penny auctions, and passive income that is not penny auctions. Okay, it's not driven by that. And again, if you have a penny auction that actually has real end user customers bidding on the site, that's what you want to look for. That's where that model is going to be self-sustainable, and that's a problem that Zeek, obviously, a lot of people were concerned about, and it turned out to be true, that the money that they were paying out was not coming from the profits that the company was making. All right, so another option that you have is a low end, low cost, feeder program. Okay, and that term used to be a little bit more popular before. A low cost feeder program is something where you market on the front end, and you can make some income, cover the cost of your advertising, and then move them into your primary business. Okay, and this really starts diversifying your risk. So not only are you making money from your primary business, but you're making money from your feeder program. The other thing you can do is a reverse feeder. Okay, and a reverse feeder is what I often like to do, because I, like Roger, like marketing online. So I create a lot of marketing funnels that lead with my primary business, and then the people that for whatever reason don't like that, I'll funnel them into a lower end type of product, whether it's an affiliate product, whether it's a low cost business, something about marketing training. Those are really effective to do. And I know that Roger does the same thing with he's an eBay genius. He won't admit that, but he is. And as you move up, the last kind of category that you want to be looking at is your traditional MLM. Okay, and this is where a lot of people make a ton of money, and it definitely takes work. It takes, time on the phone. It takes, ingenuity. But this is your legitimate long-term income. Now as we kind of go back over these other programs, even these reverse feeders and these low-cost feeders, they tend to have a much lower lifespan. So some people get caught up in doing is changing programs every year. And they'll jump into a new thing and they'll start that. And they don't realize the opportunity cost of doing that becomes very challenging. I think it was Mark Yarnell that said at one time, you could have 10 one-year careers or 10-year careers. In both cases, you've worked 10 years, but when you really put 10 years, or not even that long, but just as a sake of example, into a traditional network marketing company, this is going to be your most stable and have the least amount of risk. And what I kind of liken it to is, you know, you may need to use some of these other programs, either on or other types of programs that we mentioned on this page or on the other page, and it's really a process of legitimizing it. So, for example, in The Godfather, one of my favorite movies, and The Godfather 2, Michael was trying to legitimize his business and move it away from the illegal profits he was taking from, from the mafia business, and put it into, hotels, and put it into a lot of those other things. And you could argue you could take it one level further and take your, legitimate network marketing income and then put that into cash flow producing assets. So that's really the model that you want to start thinking about, rather than, because I know a lot of people are going to panic and just kind of think, oh, what program am I going to jump into? What kind of program? And really, I want you to think of it more strategically, so you can be prepared and you can be building and you can be diversifying your risk. And I think that's the big message to have here is, diversity. Um, Diversity is really important, because if suddenly one income stream gets cut off, you're still going to have other income streams. And for me, for example, I mean, I have a list of subscribers, and that creates diversity for me. I have different products, and that creates diversity for me. And I think that you want to balance both your long-term vision of where you want to go to, and the fact that you really need to be diversified. So, was there anything else that you wanted to add on to that, Roger?
Sure, Andrew. Really great stuff. And guys, I have a couple questions coming in from leaders that I know in the industry, and I'm going to address those in just a second. But I want to let the 12 people that reached out to me recently know, that are on here, that there are other people that I have no knowledge of that are on this webinar. So I'm not going to direct them towards your program right now. This is not about that. So I'll answer your question. I'll state your question. I'll answer in just a moment. But I'm not going to name your program to bring them into. That's not what the purpose of this is. Andrew talked about diversity, and I talked about speaking to four different owners that I think are legitimate. And I don't want to name those companies, because I'm not advertising for them. But we have one company that's U.S. based, and it is a penny auction site. But they have the capability to leave the U.S. in an instant, and that to me is a model. We're going to go from most dangerous of the solid companies that I talked to today up to the most solidified. So that is a model where it's on U.S. soil right now. It's a Zeek-like, but the way the company's formatted, they could leave. So if you're still longing for that Zeek model, that might be a play for you. The next model I'm going to talk about, it's overseas. It's Zeek-like, but it's still a penny auction site. So I envision something on soil here that could move, easy to work with. They're in town, but they're Zeek-like and they're on U.S. soil. So the next step for me, I would advise you guys to get off U.S. soil. There's penny auction sites off U.S. soil. I talked to the owners of several of them. One looks legitimate to me, and that gets you off U.S. soil and not subject to, these, for lack of a better word, these jackasses that file a complaint and you try and get things shut down. We were thinking earlier on that they were jackasses because they're going out and wrecking it for everybody. But it turns out it was a Ponzi scheme, so maybe they were saviors in a way. I don't know. I don't want to voice an opinion on that. I just feel bad for everybody. The third company that's overseas and gets you out of the country is not a penny auction, okay? But it's got the exact same ease as a penny auction, and that's the third type of model. And the fourth type of model is traditional network marketing company that's on U.S. soil. And that's not the penny auction, it's not the online model, but certainly huge solidification in that. Now you might be thinking, why am I saying all these but not naming them? This wasn't the object of this, guys, and my goal was to have 12 of my friends from around the world on so I could give them specific guidance, but I can't do that anymore since everybody's on here, and that's fine. That's fine. These four places, the names will be available to you, and I'm going to read a couple questions I'm having right now. This is from one of my leaders over in Australia. Wants to know if I could bring his team into eBay training. And guys, what's going on here is my eBay training traditionally is for $500 to $2,500 to do, and I don't want to send out any links to that right now. Again, I'm very cautious about this being a sales webinar. It's more of a guidance webinar. So I'm not going to provide any links to eBay training or anything like that. I don't want to sell anybody anything. If you don't know, I do $1.2 to $1.8 million annually drop shipping on eBay without touching anything. That's kind of my just side fund money I do while I grow it myself. And I understand there's a lot of people hurting in the industry right now, and they want to grab onto something solid and easy and make money. I will reach out to you after this call in Australia and discuss, whether or not we can branch this out to Australia. Okay, I appreciate that. The other question is coming out of Japan from Kevin. Kevin has one of the companies. He's asking the question, we've got 18,000 people moving into company X today, and it's one of the companies that you talked about as your top 4. Can you announce it on here? I'm not going to do that, Kevin. It wouldn't be fair to the other 11 leaders that I know. It wouldn't be fair to the strangers that are on the call here. What we did is I had Andrew, when we realized what happened and this was going to be released to the masses, actually build out a form so we can follow up with you guys on what direction that you want to take and give you leaders in those companies. Okay, so for instance, Kevin is talking about Company X, and if you're interested in, one of Kevin's things he's talking about is another penny auction site overseas, and if you're interested in that, I could take the time to marry you with Kevin in something like that, or whatever you're interested in, I can marry you with those people. So I had Andrew actually design out a form when we realized this error took place, and Andrew, in a moment, will refer you over to that, and we'll happily take any questions going forward. Andrew's going to put up on the screen. He's so techie. But guys, just on the fly, whatever leader I marry you with, understand that they grew their entire business online, and this is the non-traditional network marketing businesses. They grew them online. For instance, Kevin, I think, had 40-something thousand people in Zeek without talking to any of them. So I won't put you in contact with someone that's not superior. So that's www.andrewmurrayhq.com/Zeek. And I guess what's happening is people are pouring in streams into these companies. Kevin's company I will be recommending, but not on this call here. If you decide you're interested in one format that Andrew has in that form, I'll certainly connect you guys, and you can discover how in every company we've ever been in, we've grown the entire thing online. And that's something that people are adamantly after in this industry. So with that, guys, I appreciate you guys being on here. I'm going to throw it back to Andrew for a moment. And it's tough right now, guys, and it's sensitive to a lot of people are hurting out there. But I understand your sense of urgency and wanting to find something before entire teams pour in there ahead of you. So I promise to work through the night and get you all the information out as soon as I can. I know that There was an example in Numis, for example, or David Wood poured out and went into Numis and became the top person in Numis overnight. And that's what happens in these circumstances. Some people will lick their wounds and celebrate this weekend and beers and whatever, not celebrate, but drown their sorrows. Others will make moves to position themselves to get back on top instantly. So I appreciate that around the world's trying to do that now. And I'll reach out to you with my recommendations ASAP, guys. Andrew?
Yeah, no, that's great. I certainly would just only add that. Yeah, I mean, it's really just unfortunate what's going on with Zeke. When we did launch this webinar, I mean, we didn't even have that SEC report, and so many things have happened, and it's happened pretty quickly. And one of the things that I think is really important, that I've learned is your associations, right? People that know people. And if you look at the internet marketing world, the world that I'm from, a lot of it's run by JVs. If you know who the people are that have a list and they go JV your product, then it's going to be successful. And one of the things that I like working with Roger about is we have our own little exclusive club where we can really bounce the stuff off of and really really do some explosive things. And I guess it's kind of like the mastermind principle. But um, apart from that rambling, yeah, I mean, I really, I think we're both really, saddened by what happened with Zeke, and just want you to know that we're not those kind of people that are, jumping up and down and cheering and stuff. And whatever we can do to help, if you want any kind of help from us, then that's great. And if not, I hope that we've been able to at least teach you something and give you some information, that you can absorb and help make your future direction a little bit more a little bit better. So with that being said, I'll end this webinar now. Thanks so much, Roger, for being on this webinar and sharing all that information. Um, and once again, go to andrewmurrayhq.com/Zeek to get on that list. So that's andrewmurrayhq.com/Zeek.